There is a truth that few are willing to face. The world does not reward the average. The world does not celebrate excuses. It separates the winners from the losers through one simple measure: discipline. The path a person chooses in private defines the results they achieve in public. That is the line between greatness and mediocrity. Before we uncover the difference between winners and losers, pause for a moment and ask, do you want to be remembered as someone who lived with excuses, or as someone who fought until they built a life of respect and victory? If the answer is victory, then stay until the final word of this video. Every sentence is crafted to reshape the way success is understood. If you want more content that pushes you forward every single day, take a second right now to subscribe, leave a like, and share this message with someone who needs it. Comment below and tell us what success means to you, because your definition will shape the life you build. Together, we create a community of individuals who refuse to settle, winners who rise above the ordinary. Now, let us begin this journey. In this video, we will uncover the raw and unfiltered differences between those who succeed and those who surrender. We will explore how winners think, how they act, and how they persist when the world expects them to quit. We will reveal the hidden habits of losers, the patterns that trap them in cycles of regret and wasted years. And most importantly, you will learn how to step over the line that divides mediocrity from mastery. Winners and losers are not born. They are created by the choices they make every day. Choices in thought, choices in action, choices in sacrifice. The difference is sharper than most people realize, and by the end of this video, that difference will become crystal clear. The greatest difference between winners and losers begins in the mind. Everything a person achieves or fails to achieve is born first as a thought. A loser entertains doubt. A loser begins with fear, telling himself it cannot be done. His imagination becomes a prison that locks him inside limitation. But a winner, even in the face of impossibility, holds a vision. He sees what others cannot see. He believes before there is proof. He plants the seed of victory in thought long before it ever appears in reality. Consider this truth. The human mind is the most powerful weapon on earth. It has built empires, discovered electricity, and reached the moon. Yet that same mind, left uncontrolled, has destroyed dreams, sabotaged opportunities, and chained men to mediocrity. The loser allows his mind to become an enemy. The winner trains his mind until it becomes an ally. Winners carry a mindset of abundance. They do not see limitations as walls. They see them as challenges to climb. They welcome adversity because they understand that resistance is what builds strength. Losers see obstacles as reasons to quit. They retreat at the first sign of hardship, convincing themselves that success was never meant for them. That is why losers complain, while winners create. That is why losers criticize, while winners build. When a winner falls, he studies the fall. He asks what lesson can be learned, what strategy can be sharpened, what strength can be gained. When a loser falls, he curses the ground, blames the weather, and declares that fate is unfair. The fall breaks him because he was never willing to rise in the first place. That is in those dark hours of defeat that the mindset of a winner shines brightest. For every failure becomes the foundation of greater determination. Winners do not fear rejection. They do not run from failure. They harvest power from it. Losers avoid rejection. Doing so, they avoid growth. They remain stuck, living lives of quiet despair, waiting for luck that never comes. Understand this clearly. A winner does not need the world to believe in him. He needs only to believe in himself long enough to turn his vision into reality. A loser demands that others believe first. He craves applause before he has earned achievement. That is why he never begins. And if he begins, he never endures. The story of every winner is the story of persistence against the weight of doubt. The story of every loser is the story of surrender in the presence of resistance. The difference between the two is invisible to the eye, but powerful to the outcome. It is the choice of thought, the choice to direct the mind toward faith instead of fear, toward possibility instead of limitation. Look around in history and the pattern becomes undeniable. Great men and women were not handed victory. They built it with relentless faith. They were doubted, ridiculed, and often alone. Yet their belief was so strong that reality had no choice but to conform. Meanwhile, countless others with equal opportunity faded into silence because their mindset was too weak to sustain the fire of ambition. This is the law. Winners think differently. They condition the mind daily, feeding it with knowledge, affirmations, and visions of success. They guard their environment, surrounding themselves with those who lift them higher. Losers let their minds rot with doubt, gossip, and distractions. They live for entertainment, while winners live for elevation. The truth is simple. Winners master their minds. Losers are slaves to theirs. The habits of a man reveal his destiny. Every winner and every loser is shaped, not by chance, but by the rituals repeated. Success is not an accident. Failure is not a mystery. Both are the predictable outcome of daily choices, repeated silently when no one is watching. A winner rises early. He respects the morning as sacred time. He He knows the first hour sets the tone for the entire day. Instead of reaching for distraction, he reaches for direction. He feeds his mind with knowledge, his body with movement, and his spirit with purpose. In silence, before the world awakes, he sets his intentions. He commands. The day before the day can command him. A loser wakes without purpose. He presses the alarm again and again, hoping that minutes of stolen sleep will replace a lifetime of wasted time. He begins the day already behind, already weak, already defeated. The loser does not plan the day. The day consumes him. He reacts. Instead of leads. Winners build habits that compound. They read, they write, they reflect, and they take small, deliberate steps toward their goals. They understand that greatness is built not in one moment of inspiration, but in thousands of unseen acts of discipline. Losers build habits that decay. They scroll endlessly, they complain, they waste hours in entertainment while their dreams starve from neglect. A winner trains his body because he knows the mind and the body are one. He does not need the perfect gym or the perfect weather. He uses what he has. He knows strength is not found in comfort, but in challenge. A loser says tomorrow, and tomorrow never arrives. He promises himself he will begin when conditions are better, but conditions never improve because his habits never change. Winners write down their goals. They put them on paper, making them visible and undeniable. Each day, they measure progress. Those goals. Losers keep their goals trapped in the mind, vague and undefined, where they vanish in the noise of distraction. Winners practice gratitude. They focus on what is working, what is possible, what can be built. Gratitude becomes fuel. For perseverance, losers practice complaint. They magnify what is missing, what is broken, what is unfair. Complaint becomes poison that weakens their spirit and drains their willpower. Look closer at the rhythm of their days. Winners guard their time as the most precious resource they possess. They say no to distractions so they can say yes to destiny. Losers waste their time as though it is infinite. They give it away to gossip, to negativity, to meaningless pursuits. When the years have passed, they wonder why nothing has changed, forgetting that each wasted day was a brick in the wall of regret. Every great achievement has been built on small habits of discipline. The book that changes the world begins with one page, written daily. The empire that inspires nations begins with one decision acted upon daily. Winners understand this law and align their habits with their vision. Losers ignore this law and pay the price with their potential. Ask yourself, what are the habits being repeated when the world is not watching? For it is in those hidden hours that the future is decided. Winners invest those hours wisely. Losers squander them carelessly. The habits of today become the victories of tomorrow. The habits of neglect become the regrets of tomorrow. Choose your habits carefully, for in the end, they choose your destiny. The path of a winner is not defined by ease, but by sacrifice. Winners understand that success demands a price, and they are willing to pay it. Losers want success, but they want it for free. They want the prize without the process, the reward without the responsibility. That is why the gap between the two grows wider with every passing year. A winner sacrifices comfort. He embraces discomfort as the birthplace of strength, while others chase relaxation. He chases progress. He chooses the harder path because he knows the harder path leads to growth. Every time he rejects ease, he becomes sharper, stronger, more unshakable. A loser sacrifices growth for comfort. He avoids the challenge. He avoids the risk. He avoids the pain that would shape him into someone greater. He believes comfort is safety, but comfort is the silent trap that robs him of his future. A winner sacrifices excuses. He does not say, I cannot. He asks, how can I? When others see obstacles, he sees opportunities to prove himself. He does not wait for perfect conditions. He acts with what he has, where he is, trusting that movement creates momentum and momentum creates results. A loser sacrifices opportunities for excuses. He convinces himself that life is unfair, that others are lucky, that the system is against him. In doing so, he hands away his power. His excuses become the prison walls that keep him trapped. A winner sacrifices short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. He will walk away from parties, distractions, and temptations because he values his mission more than his momentary feelings. He knows pleasure fades, but purpose endures. He chooses purpose, again and again, until it becomes who he is. A loser sacrifices his purpose. Winners sacrifice fear for courage. They feel fear, but they do not bow to it. They step forward despite it. They know fear loses its power when it is confronted. Each time they act with courage, their confidence grows. Losers sacrifice courage. For fear, they let fear dictate their choices. They avoid risk, they avoid action, they avoid life. Fear controls them, and fear destroys them. A winner sacrifices the approval of the crowd. He knows not everyone will understand his mission. Not everyone will support his journey. He accepts criticism, he accepts doubt, he accepts being misunderstood, because he knows the vision belongs to him, not to them. A loser sacrifices his vision for the approval of the crowd. He bends, he conforms, he settles, desperate for validation. In the end, he becomes a reflection of others instead of the creator of his own destiny. Every winner chooses pain now for strength later. Every loser chooses ease now for regret later. The difference is not in desire, for both desire success. The difference is in sacrifice, for only one is willing to endure the fire required to become great. The truth is simple. Winners and losers face the same world, the same challenges, the same temptations. What separates them is not fate, not luck, not talent, but choice. Daily choices, small and great, choices made in silence, choices made in struggle, choices made when no one else is watching. The winner chooses discipline. The loser chooses distraction. The winner chooses sacrifice. The loser chooses comfort. The winner chooses courage. The loser chooses fear. These choices, repeated over years, decide everything. So at defeat, no man can escape this truth. The difference between winners and losers is the sum of their choices, and those choices begin today. Failure is the dividing line. It does not care who faces it, for failure visits every man. But what one does with failure decides who rises and who falls. A winner welcomes failure as a teacher. He understands that every setback carries a lesson. He looks at failure not as the end, but as the beginning of wisdom. When his plans collapse, he does not collapse with them. He gathers the lessons, he strengthens his resolve, and he returns, sharper than before. A loser fears failure as if it were death. He runs from it, hides from it, avoids the very risks that could lead to growth. When he stumbles, he stays down. He treats failure as proof that he is not capable, not worthy, not enough. And so failure chains him, while it frees the winner. A winner uses failure as fuel. Each rejection, each defeat, each disappointment becomes energy for his next attempt. He takes the sting of loss and channels it into determination. He does not waste time in self-pity. He knows that the pain of failure can either break him or build him, and he chooses to let it build him. A loser uses failure as an excuse. He tells himself it was too hard, the timing was wrong, the world was against him. He uses his setbacks to justify giving up, to explain away his lack of results. In this way, he hands his power to failure instead of taking power from it. The winner accepts that failure is temporary, but regret is permanent. He understands that pain lasts for a moment, but quitting. The loser accepts that failure is permanent and success is temporary. He convinces himself that others succeed only because of chance or advantage. And with this belief, he gives up before destiny ever had the chance to test him. The greatest truth is this: the road to success is paved with failure. Every winner has failed more times than a loser has even tried. Every great name in history has known defeat, humiliation, rejection, and pain. What sets them apart is not immunity from failure, but their relentless refusal to be defined by it. A winner says, "This failure is not me. It is only a step on the path." A loser says, "This failure is proof that I cannot win." That single difference in perspective creates worlds of difference in destiny. So ask yourself, how will you face failure? Will you let it bury you, or will you let it refine you? For failure is the furnace in which greatness is forged. Every stumble can be the step that carries you closer to victory, if only you refuse to stop walking. Time is the currency of life. Every man is given the same 24 hours, yet the difference between winners and losers lies in how they spend it. A winner treats time as his most sacred resource. He knows once an hour is gone, it will never return. He does not waste it on distractions, idleness, or empty pleasures. He invests his hours with intention. Every morning he rises with purpose, shaping his day with discipline. He builds habits that turn minutes into progress and hours into results. A loser treats time as if it were endless. He spends it carelessly, drifting from one distraction to another. Hours vanish into gossip, television, endless scrolling, and aimless entertainment. He believes he has tomorrow, forgetting that tomorrow is promised to no man. His days blur into weeks, his weeks into years, until he wonders why life has passed him by. A winner multiplies time. He does not wait for motivation, he creates it. He uses the early hours of the morning, when the world is quiet, to strengthen his body, sharpen his mind, and direct his focus. He turns waiting into learning, silence into strategy, and solitude into power. By mastering his schedule, he commands his future. A loser wastes time. He delays action with excuses. He says he will start when the moment is right, when he feels ready, when circumstances are perfect, but perfection never comes, and readiness never arrives. So he remains still while the clock keeps moving. A winner guards his time from thieves. He does not allow toxic people, pointless arguments, or meaningless habits to steal his focus. He understands that every minute spent on nonsense is a minute stolen from his dream. His calendar is not controlled by chance, but by choice. A loser gives his time away cheaply. He says yes to every demand, every distraction, every impulse. He allows others to dictate his priorities, and in the process he loses control of his life. His hours belong to everyone but himself. The truth is this: the way a man spends his time reveals who he truly is. If he values his future, he invests his time wisely. If he fears responsibility, he wastes his time carelessly. Success is not hidden in secret formulas but in how one spends the minutes of his day. A winner looks at the clock and sees opportunity. A loser looks at the clock and sees limitation. One sees every tick as a chance to move forward. The other sees every tick as a reminder of what he has not done. Time does not favor the rich or the poor, the strong or the weak. It favors the man who refuses to waste it. Winners know that consistency with time compounds into mastery. Losers ignore this law and wonder why others seem to move ahead while they remain stuck. So the question becomes, how will you treat your time? Will you let it slip away in comfort, or will you harness it to carve out greatness? For when the end of life comes, it will not be the money or possessions that matter. It will be whether your hours were wasted or invested. Winners will smile, for they turned their time into a legacy. Losers will regret, for they traded their time for nothing. The greatest difference between winners and losers is not found in their wealth, their background, or their resources. It is found in their mindset. A winner sees possibility where others see limitation. He believes obstacles exist not to defeat him but to sharpen him. He sees rejection as redirection, failure as instruction, and hardship as preparation. His thoughts are fixed on growth, not excuses. When his mind whispers doubt, he answers with faith. When fear rises, he answers with courage. A loser allows his thoughts to chain him. He sees problems as walls that cannot be broken. He interprets rejection as proof that he is not good enough. He views failure as the end instead of the lesson. His thoughts are filled with complaints, jealousy, and fear. He waits for life to change but never changes his thinking. A winner guards his mind with discipline. He feeds it with knowledge, wisdom, and vision. He studies, he learns, he stretches his perspective daily. He surrounds himself with voices that uplift and environments that inspire. He knows that the soil of the mind produces whatever seeds are planted, so he plants seeds of greatness. A loser neglects his mind. He fills it with noise, gossip, and negativity. He spends his energy on envy, comparing his life to others while doing nothing to improve his own. He drowns his potential in distractions, forgetting that what enters the mind eventually shapes the man. A winner thinks in terms of responsibility. He says, if my life is to improve, it is up to me. He knows he cannot control the storms, but he can control his sail. He cannot control the world, but he can control his choices. His thoughts are anchored in action, never in blame. A loser thinks in terms of excuses. He says, I cannot win because of where I was born, because of what I lack, because others will not give me a chance. He blames the world, his past, and everyone but himself. And because he refuses to accept responsibility, he remains powerless. A winner builds mental resilience. He trains his mind to keep moving even when his feelings scream to quit. He knows emotions are temporary, but discipline is permanent. His mind becomes his ally, driving him toward the finish line even when his body feels weak. A loser surrenders to emotion. If he feels tired, he quits. If he feels discouraged, he stops. If the path becomes difficult, he abandons it. His mind is his enemy, and he is defeated long before the battle begins. The truth is this: success is born twice. First in the mind, then in reality. Winners understand this law and master their inner world. Losers ignore it and wonder why their outer world never changes. A man cannot rise higher than his thoughts. If his thoughts are small, his life will be small. If his thoughts are weak, his future will be weak. But if his thoughts are filled with vision, strength, and faith, nothing on earth can keep him from rising. So the battlefield is the mind, and the victory belongs to the man who masters it. Winners do not wait for circumstances to change their thoughts. They change their thoughts to change their circumstances. Losers wait for the world to shape them, and in the end, the world breaks them. Adversity is the great equalizer. It comes to every man, no matter his status, wealth, or position. It does not ask permission. It does not discriminate. It visits the strong and the weak, the rich and the poor, the dreamer and the doubter. And when it comes, it reveals the difference between winners and losers. A winner welcomes adversity as a teacher. He does not ask, why me? He asks, what can I learn? He understands that every trial contains a lesson, every storm carries wisdom, and every setback holds the seed of growth. When doors close, he looks for windows. When he is knocked down, he rises with more strength. A loser curses adversity. He sees it as unfair, as a sign that life is against him. Instead of seeking lessons, he seeks pity. Instead of rising, he stays down. He sees storms as proof he should never have tried. He blames others, the world, or fate, and in doing so he wastes the very opportunity that could have transformed him. A winner knows that diamonds are made under pressure and that strength is born in struggle. He sees adversity as the forge where greatness is shaped. He endures discomfort with the knowledge that temporary pain produces lasting power. He keeps moving forward even when the path is filled with obstacles, because he knows that every trial he conquers makes him unshakable. A loser avoids adversity at all costs. He seeks comfort, even if it means surrendering his potential. He chooses the easy road, unaware that the easy road leads to regret. Because he refuses to face challenges, his strength never grows. His comfort today becomes his weakness tomorrow. A winner does not fear failure. He sees it as a stepping stone, a temporary state that moves him closer to mastery. He studies his failures, extracts the lesson, and tries again with more wisdom. Each failure becomes fuel, each mistake becomes guidance, and each loss becomes preparation for victory. A loser fears failure so deeply that he avoids trying. He believes that if he does not attempt, he cannot lose. Yet in doing nothing, he guarantees defeat. He never risks, never stretches, never grows. And because he avoids failure, he also avoids success. A winner understands that adversity is not a punishment but a promotion. It is life's way of testing his readiness for greater heights. It is proof that he is moving, proof that he is stretching, proof that he is alive in the pursuit of something meaningful. He embraces adversity as part of the journey. A loser misses adversity as evidence that success is not for him. He sees difficulty as rejection, pain as cruelty, and challenge as proof of his weakness. Because he misreads the meaning of adversity, he quits before the blessing arrives. The difference between winners and losers in the face of adversity can be summed up in one choice: persistence or surrender. Winners persist, even when it hurts, even when it is slow, even when it feels impossible. Losers surrender at the first sign of resistance. Life does not reward the man who starts. Life rewards the man who endures. And that is why adversity separates the few who win from the many who lose. A road to success is not paved with ease. It is paved with struggle, discipline, and persistence. Winners know this and walk boldly. Losers run from it and remain forever trapped in mediocrity. Adversity is not the enemy. It is the invitation. Winners accept the invitation. Losers decline it. Time is the one resource given equally to all men. Every person receives 24 hours in a day. Yet the difference between winners and losers is revealed not by how much time they have, but by how they choose to use it. A winner treats time as sacred. He guards it as the most valuable currency in existence. He knows that once an hour is wasted, it cannot be bought back. He invests his time in actions that move him closer to his vision. Every day is accounted for. Every habit is measured. He understands that greatness is not built in a single day, but in the steady accumulation of small, disciplined actions repeated over time. A loser treats time as if it were endless. He wastes it on distractions, on excuses, on activities that bring temporary comfort but no lasting reward. He delays the work that matters and fills his days with what is easy. Instead of investing, he squanders. Instead of building, he drifts. And when years pass, he looks back with regret, realizing too late that he traded the most precious resource for nothing of value. A winner builds habits that align with his vision. He knows that success is not determined by what he occasionally does, but by what he consistently repeats. His mornings are intentional, his routines purposeful, his nights reflective. Each habit becomes a brick, and those bricks construct the empire of his destiny. A loser builds habits that enslave him. He chooses comfort over discipline, pleasure over purpose. He wakes without a plan, spends without thought, and ends the day no further than where he began. His habits keep him stuck, and because he refuses to change them, his life remains the same year after year. A winner knows that time is life itself. To waste time is to waste life. To master time is to master destiny. That is why he rises early, why he plans carefully, why he refuses to let trivial distractions steal his focus. He understands that every minute spent in weakness is a minute stolen from greatness. A loser allows time to slip away unnoticed. He lives as if tomorrow is promised, as if opportunity will always wait. He treats ours as disposable, unaware that wasted time slowly robs him of his potential. When he finally realizes the cost, it is too late. The truth is simple. Winners and losers both have the same clock, the same days, the same hours. But winners turn time into progress, while losers turn time into regret. So here is the unshakable truth. The difference between winners and losers is not in talent, not in background, not in luck. It is in how they face adversity, in how they guard their time, and in the habits they choose to repeat each day. A winner knows that adversity sharpens him, that time is his greatest wealth, and that habits determine his destiny. A loser ignores these truths and pays the price with mediocrity. The question now is not who they are, but who you will choose to be, because the same storms will come to you, the same 24 hours will be placed in your hands, the same power of habit will shape your future. Will you rise as a winner who endures, disciplines, and builds? Or will you fall as a loser who delays, avoids, and wastes? Life is watching. Time is ticking. The decision belongs to you. The difference between winners and losers is not written in their circumstances, it is written in their choices. Both are born with the same blank slate of possibility. Both are tested by hardship. Both face the same world filled with distractions, temptations, and doubt. But one chooses to rise, and the other chooses to remain the same. A winner lives by vision. He sees the man he is destined to become and refuses to settle for less. He knows that greatness is not given, it is claimed. He accepts responsibility for his life, refuses excuses, and builds discipline as his shield against weakness. Every day he takes steps forward, no matter how small, because he understands that consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. A loser lives by excuse. He blames his past, his environment, his circumstances. He waits for the perfect moment that never arrives. He avoids discomfort and seeks pleasure without purpose. Instead of building his life, he lets life happen to him. While the winner is climbing the mountain, the loser is standing at the bottom, complaining about how steep it looks. A winner knows that failure is not the end, but the foundation of success. He welcomes rejection, mistakes, and setbacks, because he knows they are not signs of defeat but lessons that prepare him for greater victories. Every time he is knocked down, he rises stronger. Every scar becomes proof that he refused to quit. A loser sees failure as final. The first setback convinces him to surrender. The first rejection convinces him to stop trying. Instead of learning, he hides. Instead of rising, he stays down. His fear of failing keeps him from ever knowing the power of winning. A winner surrounds himself with strength. He chooses companions who push him higher, books that expand his mind, environments that challenge his growth. He knows that energy is contagious, and he protects his spirit by staying close to those who believe in vision and discipline. A loser surrounds himself with weakness. He spends time with those who feed his excuses, environments that drain his energy, and habits that kill his dreams. He does not see that his circle is his cage, and as long as he remains in it, he will never rise. The truth is this: winners are not extraordinary people. They are ordinary people who made extraordinary decisions. They chose discipline over comfort, responsibility over excuses, growth over stagnation. They did not wait for motivation. They acted with commitment. They did not seek shortcuts. They endured the process, and in doing so they became more than they were yesterday. The difference between winners and losers is not a mystery. It is visible every day, in every action, in every choice. The loser says someday, the winner says today. The loser says maybe, the winner says must. The loser dreams, the winner does. Now the question comes to you: which will you be? Because the truth is this: life does not wait. Time does not pause. Opportunity does not knock forever. The clock is running, and every choice you make is either carving the path of a winner or building the prison of a loser. Decide now: will you step into discipline, courage, and purpose, and claim the life you were born to live? Or will you look back years from now, filled with regret, knowing you traded your potential for excuses? Winners are not chosen. Winners are created. And in this very moment, as you hear these words, the creation of your destiny begins. Stand up, step forward, choose the path of the winner. Because life will not wait, and greatness belongs to those who refuse to waste it.